The golden age of Hollywood gave us timeless films and unforgettable stars who lit up the silver screen with their talent and charisma. But, not everything behind the glitz and glamour was as golden as it seemed. While these actors and actresses brought joy to millions, their personal lives often told a much different story. For some, fame was fleeting and financial struggles followed. Today, we're looking at 20 Hollywood legends who, despite their incredible talent and once bright careers, tragically passed away in poverty. Their stories are a reminder of the harsh realities behind the Hollywood spotlight. Judy Garland was the voice of a generation, forever remembered as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Despite earning an estimated $40 million over her career, Garland's life was riddled with financial woes. By the time she passed away in 1969 at just 47, her estate was shockingly reduced to $40,000, with debts soaring to $4 million. Garland's struggles with addiction and the financial mismanagement of those she trusted left her grappling to make ends meet. In her later years, she was forced to perform in small clubs and venues, often skipping out on unpaid hotel bills. It was a heartbreaking end for one of Hollywood's brightest stars. Errol Flynn, the dashing star of Captain Blood and the Adventures of Robin Hood, embodied on-screen charm and glamour. Off-screen, however, Flynn's life was marked by excess and controversy. He spent his fortune on luxurious yachts, lavish homes, and an extravagant lifestyle. Legal battles, including a scandalous 1943 trial for statutory rape, which ended in acquittal, drained his finances. Failed business ventures and costly divorces only compounded his troubles. By the time he passed away in 1959 at the age of 50, the swashbuckling star's estate was valued at a mere $10,000, a stark contrast to his larger-than-life persona. Barbara Payton's story is one of Hollywood's most tragic. A stunning actress who starred alongside James Cagney in Kiss Tomorrow, Goodbye, she was once poised for greatness, but her life spiraled out of control due to turbulent relationships, substance abuse, and scandal. As her career disintegrated, Payton fell into financial ruin. By her late 30s, she was living in poverty, struggling to survive and resorting to prostitution. She died penniless in 1967 at the age of 39, far removed from the glittering Hollywood she once dazzled. Her story serves as a haunting, cautionary tale of fame lost too soon. Roscoe Arbuckle was a comedic powerhouse in the silent film era, earning over $1 million annually, a fortune by 1920s standards. However, his illustrious career was shattered by the infamous 1921 scandal in which he was accused of raping and causing the death of actress Virginia Rappe. Although he was acquitted after 3 grueling trials, the court of public opinion was less forgiving. Arbuckle's films were banned and he became blacklisted in Hollywood. The legal battles drained him financially, costing an estimated $700,000. Attempts to revive his career under pseudonyms were only marginally successful. Arbuckle passed away from a heart attack in 1933 at the age of 46, leaving behind little more than debts and the shadow of a ruined reputation. Dorothy Dandridge made history as the first African-American woman to earn an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress with her stunning performance in Carmen Jones in 1954. But despite breaking barriers, Dandridge faced relentless racial discrimination, which severely limited her career opportunities and earning potential. Financial mismanagement and unpaid taxes further compounded her struggles, forcing her to declare bankruptcy in 1963 with debts totaling approximately $150,000. Failed marriages and poor investments left her destitute. By the time she died in 1965 at just 42 years old, Dandridge had only 24 cents in her bank account. Her heartbreaking story highlights the challenges of navigating systemic racism and financial pitfalls in Hollywood. Marie Prevost was one of the silent film era's brightest stars, captivating audiences with roles in The Marriage Circle in 1924 and Kiss Me Again in 1925. But the advent of sound films proved disastrous for many silent film stars, including Prevost, who found herself struggling to transition. Her career decline, combined with battles with alcoholism and depression, left her financially and emotionally devastated. By the time of her death in 1937, at just 38 years old, Prevost was living alone in a shabby Los Angeles apartment with only $300 to her name. Her tragic end is a stark reminder of how fleeting fame can be and the brutal toll of Hollywood's evolving industry. Sammy Davis Jr., one of the most iconic entertainers of the 20th century, dazzled audiences with his singing, dancing, acting, and undeniable charisma. A member of the famed Rat Pack, Davis broke racial barriers in Hollywood and became a symbol of versatility and talent. Yet, behind the spotlight, his lavish lifestyle took a heavy financial toll. Davis owned multiple luxury homes, drove expensive cars, and adorned himself with high-end jewelry, spending well beyond his means. To make matters worse, he owed the IRS over $7 million due to years of tax troubles. At the time of his death in 1990, Davis was 64 and left an estate still burdened with $5.2 million in debt. His widow was forced to auction off his personal possessions to cover the remaining costs, a sobering conclusion to the life of a man who had once epitomized glamour and success. Veronica Lake, celebrated for her iconic roles in Sullivan's Travels and her signature peekaboo hairstyle, was a Hollywood sensation in the 1940s. However, her life took a tragic turn due to personal struggles, including battles with alcoholism and mental health issues. A series of failed marriages and career setbacks left her financially unstable. By 1951, Lake had declared bankruptcy and began living a far cry from the glamorous life she once knew. Her financial and personal struggles remained a defining feature of her later years, highlighting the fragility of stardom during Hollywood's golden era. Bela Lugosi's haunting portrayal of Count Dracula in the 1931 classic cemented his status as a Hollywood legend, but it also typecast him, limiting his career opportunities. Financial instability plagued him throughout his life, worsened by his addiction to morphine and methadone, initially taken to alleviate chronic sciatica. By 1955, Lugosi was forced to file for bankruptcy, listing debts of $3,500 and assets of just $1,900. To make ends meet, he appeared in low-budget films, including collaborations with cult director Ed Wood. Lugosi passed away in 1956 at the age of 73, leaving behind little more than a legacy as the quintessential Dracula and a cautionary tale of fame's fleeting nature. Mickey Rooney, a Hollywood icon with a career that spanned 9 decades, was once one of the biggest box office stars of his time. Renowned for his roles in classics like Babes in Arms and National Velvet, Rooney's life behind the scenes was far from glamorous. He faced financial turmoil, largely due to multiple divorces and allegations of financial mismanagement by his 8th wife and her son. Despite earning millions during his career, Rooney's later years were marred by debt, including back taxes and medical bills. When he passed away in 2014 at the age of 93, his estate amounted to just $18,000, a stark contrast to the immense success he had once enjoyed. Marvin Gaye, the legendary soul singer behind iconic tracks like What's Going On and Sexual Healing, was a towering figure in music history. However, his personal life was riddled with struggles. Gaye battled substance abuse and faced severe financial challenges, including mounting debts to the IRS and costly divorces. Seeking refuge from his financial woes, he relocated to Europe for a time. Tragically, his life was cut short in 1984 at the age of 44, when he was fatally shot by his father. Though celebrated for his unparalleled talent, Gaye left behind significant debts, a haunting reminder of the challenges he faced offstage. Corey Haim, a teen heartthrob of the 1980s, rose to fame with roles in films like The Lost Boys and Lucas, yet his promising career was derailed by a lifelong battle with drug addiction. The financial strain from his addiction and a string of unsuccessful projects led Haim to file for bankruptcy in 1997, listing debts exceeding $200,000, including unpaid taxes. By the time of his death in 2010 at the age of 38, Haim was reportedly destitute, living with his mother in a modest apartment. His tragic downfall serves as a poignant example of how fame and fortune can fade all too quickly. Billie Holiday, the legendary jazz singer whose voice defined an era, lived a life filled with both triumph and tragedy. Known for her emotional renditions of songs like Strange Fruit and God Bless the Child, her career was severely impacted by her struggles with addiction and relentless targeting by authorities. Arrests for heroin possession made it increasingly difficult for her to book performances, especially in venues that served alcohol. By the time of her death in 1959 at the age of 44, Holiday had only $750 to her name and was under arrest for drug possession on her hospital bed. Her tragic end serves as a stark reminder of the personal battles she faced despite her extraordinary talent. Gary Coleman, beloved for his role as Arnold Jackson in Different Strokes, charmed audiences with his quick wit and comedic timing. However, his life off-screen was anything but charmed. After the show's conclusion, Coleman faced legal battles, including a high-profile lawsuit against his parents and former manager for mismanaging his trust fund. The financial strain forced him to file for bankruptcy in 1999. Coleman struggled with health issues, living a modest life far removed from his early fame. At the time of his death in 2010, at just 42 years old, he was reportedly penniless and without health insurance, a heartbreaking contrast to the success he achieved as a child star. Whitney Houston, one of the most powerful voices in music history, captivated the world with her chart-topping hits like I Will Always Love You and Greatest Love of All. Despite her massive success and record-breaking album sales, Houston faced deeply personal struggles with substance abuse and financial mismanagement. Her lavish lifestyle and the costs associated with her addiction quickly depleted her once immense fortune. By the time of her death in 2012 at the age of 48, reports suggested she was nearly bankrupt, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable music, but a life marked by personal turmoil. Michael Jackson, the unparalleled king of pop, left an indelible mark on music and pop culture, with iconic albums like Thriller and Bad. However, behind the glitz and groundbreaking performances was a financial empire crumbling under the weight of his extravagant lifestyle. Jackson's lavish spending on his Neverland Ranch, art collections, and luxury items, combined with costly legal battles and settlements, left him in financial turmoil. At the time of his untimely death in 2009 at the age of 50, Jackson was reportedly $500 million in debt. Despite these struggles, his estate has since rebounded, but his financial woes remain a cautionary tale of the price of fame and excess. Omar Sharif, the Egyptian actor who captured global attention with his roles in Lawrence of Arabia and Dr. Zhivago, was a cinematic legend whose personal life was marked by financial struggles. A passionate gambler, Sharif's habits reportedly led to significant losses, which contributed to his financial instability. Though he remained respected in the industry, his later years were lived modestly, far from the glamour of his Hollywood heyday. Sharif passed away in 2015 at the age of 83, having reportedly lost much of his once substantial fortune to his gambling addiction. Anita Ekberg, the Swedish actress who famously waded into Rome's Trevi Fountain in Federico Fellini's La Dolce Vita, became a symbol of 1960s cinematic glamour. However, her star faded in the decades that followed, leaving her struggling to sustain the lifestyle she once enjoyed. Financial difficulties were compounded by a divorce and multiple robberies, which stripped her of much of her wealth. Ekberg spent her later years in Italy, living in relative seclusion and reportedly relying on aid from the Fellini Foundation. She passed away in 2015 at the age of 83, her once glittering career a distant memory, overshadowed by the hardships she faced in her final years. Bobby Driscoll, the beloved child actor who voiced Peter Pan and starred in Disney classics like Treasure Island, seemed to have a bright future ahead. However, his transition to adulthood was marked by challenges. Struggling with drug addiction and the loss of his boyish charm that once endeared him to audiences, Driscoll found himself out of work and ostracized from the industry. Legal troubles further compounded his difficulties, and his life spiraled into isolation. Tragically, Driscoll died in 1968 at just 31 years old, his body discovered in an abandoned building in New York City. Unclaimed and unidentified, he was buried in a pauper's grave, a heartbreaking end for a once promising star. Frances Farmer, a 1930s and 1940s screen siren, captivated audiences with her striking beauty and talent in films like Come and Get It and Son of Fury. However, her life behind the camera was far less glamorous. Farmer battled mental health issues and alcoholism, which led to her institutionalization during a time when mental health treatment was harsh and stigmatizing. After her release, she struggled to rebuild her career, finding only sporadic roles and little financial stability. Farmer passed away in 1970 at the age of 56. Reportedly penniless, her story serving as a somber reminder of the toll fame and mental health struggles can take on a life. These stories remind us that behind the glitz and glamour of fame, life can still be heartbreakingly complicated. These stars gave the world their talent, yet faced struggles that many of us could never imagine. Their lives are a testament to the highs and lows of Hollywood, and a poignant reminder to appreciate the human stories behind the spotlight.